No question?
I think one thing that we discussed was oftentimes everything that we want to try avoiding, so sugar and more inflammatory foods sometimes can feel restrictive. So we are wondering on maybe what is the best way to gradually adopt these lifestyle changes. What is the best way to do that?
Okay. So you are thinking that how we can restrict our diet if we are taking all these things in our daily routine, no?
Yes.
Okay. So according to our ethical rules and regulations, we can avoid for some days. For example, there is in every week there is Ashtami and Chaturdashi, no? So these are two big tithis on which we can put some restriction on our dietary habits. We can avoid at least this kind of spicy things or milk products on those particular days. So that can be the right way, because we cannot give up everything and anything all every day. So, and otherwise we can put such a restriction that I will take just one piece of sweet every day if I'm habitual to eat something sweet, or I need some sweet things. Then we can put just a we can restrict the number of a quantity. Okay, so just one piece in a day, because you guys are young people, no? So you need everything, and at least those things which we are taking in our daily routine diets. So if we need anything to eat, we can just put limit on the number of the pieces or quantity. So that can be also very simple way to follow such kind of dietary rules, and we thereby can restrict the extra eating of all these things which are not very much good, or also from point of view of emotions, we have to restrict all these spicy and milk products or sugar products. So this is the simple way, and either if it is possible, we can keep fasting, or we can take just one meal once in a week. That can also be the best way to to detox all those toxic things from our body, and also control our diet. So these are 2-3 ways. Night eating, we can avoid this one. Clear? So these are 3-4 days. There are ways to avoid all these things or to restrict our diet. Anything else?
I think we're good, Shamniji. Thank you so much for all of your perspective and thoughts, and your words really drove a great discussion among us. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Devendra Mehta, uncle, to provide his perspective.
Yeah, good evening. I think I'm sure you had a wonderful discussion. I'm glad shared each other's experience. That's often how we learn. I think brother sisterhood kind of group, and well, nice to meet you. This was a lovely talk. I just I'm here more to answer questions in case there are any medical related questions. I want to just mention 2-3 things more to, if you like, almost reassure you actually. So one of the misconceptions that emerged in nutrition over the century is protein. And protein, just the way people classified in the 1920s, 30s, they decided to classify how you can get to essential amino acids, thinking that's the most important thing. So they classified meat as a top because they have all the essentials, and the plant sources very rarely have everything. They have smatterings, and so they misunderstood. Well, people misunderstood what they meant. The classification is more to indicate where you can get the sources. It then became that's the best food, but that was a mistake. So realistically, what's happened is a general consensus they don't get enough protein unless you think about it when you're vegetarian or vegan, even particularly. And this misconception dated back from books written by people who were more classifying. They weren't really directing. It turns out actually that you have more protein in, let's say, red lentils or beans than meat. I mean, just how it is, you know. And also turns out you can't eat just one food. It's not like just eat beans only and then all day. It just nobody eats like that. So by the time you have a simple, random, average mixed plant-based diet, you have no protein. So the misconception that protein is an issue is just not there. It was just all, and still people repeat it, and people look at the books, still have it, and people keep saying it, and dietitians will say it. You'll see on your media that will come up again, and some will start saying, "Oh, a famous dietitian says this," but the information comes from the same books, same source, which is flawed. It wasn't intended to be best. It was intended to tell you how to think about it medically. So the first thing. If anything, actually, people that meat more than once a week end up having too much protein. And there are many diseases, other than some you mentioned, just in general, there are many conditions that relate to extra protein, which is not good for you, actually, apart from all the cancers, tumors, you know of. So never even defend that. You find actually, I recently, not to brag, but I recently did the base camp in Mount Everest, and what I found interesting is the Sherpas there will eat lentils and rice the day they're going to climb Mount Everest because that is better for them and better protein, and they actually do it because it's better protein. So, you know, that's a testament, and that's been doing for centuries. So going back, as you well know, many people were vegetarians because of this kind of philosophy. In the West, Pythagoras, you probably don't know him, but he was a famous vegetarian, very, very famous. And for many centuries, if you're vegetarian in the West, you're called a Pythagorean. So it was, he was probably 50 years younger to Maria Bhagwan. So the feeling is they got influenced by India in his training. So it's been around for more than Indians for many eons. Vast majority of the Egyptian pharaohs were vegetarian. And it was every animal had life and meaning in them, so they wouldn't eat except at feasts or rarely. So it's not new. Many of you know the gladiators were vegetarian because they lived and fought better, and they're the prized. Gladiators were very prized, and the owners prized them and fed them the best food. So in your mind, there should be no doubt that it's healthy. Of course, you'll be careful micronutrients. So make sure you realize that. And veganism is something, you know, make sure you look it up for B12, calcium, but there are more minor adjustments that I think safe. That's it. And any other questions, do let me know. Medically, I'm just here to kind of, if any questions about that came about protein. Certainly, there's a feeling of protein in kids when you rear kids, bring up kids. All that is misnomer. It's all something that came through media and books that are actually not correct. You don't have to worry about protein at all. That's not your worry. It's how varied and as so much sattvic the food is, and how peaceful and how loving it's made, and the rest of it doesn't seem to be an issue. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about. So, Salam, here any questions and any doubts people have, I'm happy to address them.
Yeah, thank you so much. So one question I had was, so you mentioned that with a vegan diet, vegetarian diet, you can definitely get good protein amounts. In terms of vitamins, do you feel the same way? Or do you think that vitamin supplements are needed? And what are your thoughts on that?
In general, vegetarian diet is very heavy vitamin load, so you don't actually need that. In fact, if you I'm not talking about processed food you eat at a fast food vegetarian place because you want to eat it because that's processed. So processed food in general, whether it's vegan, vegetarian, or non, is not healthy. But if you start from raw food or just make something that's healthy from the beginning, you don't need you don't need at all vitamins and minerals. Certainly for average healthy individual. Veganism is not really a Indian diet or old diet. It's evolved since about 1940s. The word was coined by an Englishman. We have veggie, which somebody talked about, where we from time to time give away dairy, ghee, curd, oil. You know, we do that, and that's a very Jain diet. So in some sense, the concepts were there, but that's time linked and situational, and so veganism is a new diet where they've decided to spare the cow for the reasons you know. And so humans have not used to this. It's not a human diet before. This is a new advent. And it turns out that when you do that, you take risks with vitamin B12, calcium, pretty much. And be careful about processed vegan food, because even though it's vegan, you think it's nice, and you certainly haven't enjoyed, but it probably is as nutritious as the food you make. But pretty much you have to take B12, calcium is pretty much all you need. You can make up calcium just dietary, knowing what to eat, so you don't actually have to supplement it if you don't want to. And B12 also only comes from fungal sources and animal sources. You may be interested to know that B12 actually comes from a bacterium that lives on leaves, that's eaten by animals or cows, that then comes to milk, then comes to you. So it's actually not even coming, it's coming directly from the plants. Currently, with fertilizer, the way the plants are handled, they don't exist, those microbes, and therefore the wall don't exist enough in the vegetable we buy, just the way they're processed. So we have to supplement. But more than 30 to 40% of cow's milk now, because of the same problem, is inadequate to B12. So it's not necessarily that B12 comes from animals, just the cycling of carbs. So we can supplement it, and that's probably the way to go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
Perfect.
Just one thing I want to say, that there is one doctor, Ayurvedic doctor. She is from France. She is French originally. Now she is married to a Jain young guy. So she has become now Jain, but she is practicing these what we say Jain diets and all the restrictions. So she is taking hardly one or two types of grains in a day, and that is also not boiled or cooked or processed. She is just grinding and chewing it. And she's telling from last at least 5 to 8 years, she has been taking only two types of grains and just two times and not whole day or any time. And she's telling that I'm a doctor. I'm checking all my body every after few months, and I am not finding any kind of deficiency in my body just by taking two types of grains in a day. She is not taking even vegetables, juices, fruits, etc., because she believes in non-violence, in non-violence, and she is trying to avoid how much violence she can avoid in her dietary habits. So she is not cooking even, because she is thinking that the water is also having life. So I should not put it for boiling my food. And she's taking just a hot water. So from almost 8 years, she has been practicing all these things. And she's telling that I have no deficiency of protein or any fat or any other things in my body. And we can see that from centuries, the Jain community is taking a vegetarian diet, and they have all the glow on their body. I'm seeing here the foreigners are having so much wrinkles in the old age, while the Jain people, you can see in India, you will not find such kind of wrinkles on their faces. And it is said that the bajra is having very good quality protein. The makkah is having very good quality of carbohydrate, and all the cereals, they are also source of protein, I think. Is it? And there are a lot of things which are having good quality of protein, etc. So why we are looking for such kind of unhealthy diet, which is vegetarian or based on egg or any such kind of things? Here, Dr. Devendra, he's a doctor himself, and he's doing Varshitap and 3 days fasting in a week, and nowadays he is practicing Choviyar Tap once in a week. So you can see how he is healthy and working with full energy. So the soul itself has a lot of energy. If you put some restrictions from religious purpose or from a spiritual point of view, you will not find any kind of deficiency in your body with this restricted diet.
Devendra uncle, I had one question about kind of refined sugars and sucralose and how it's related to leaky gut. So I'd love if you could speak to that.
Yeah, so generally refined sugar is not normal. Imagine we've been evolving over centuries. Refined sugars are a new advent. It didn't exist before. So anything new to a system, our body isn't adapted to, it's adapting, and it may adapt, and some may have adapted. So refined sugar will affect your lining, right? So your lining has villi, little like carpet, and then they'll have transporters, just things that'll take your food into your system. And these transporters have a certain ratios. It has to have certain salt with sugar, and natural food has it. So natural food, we've cohabited natural food, so we adapted. Just somebody said you have raw food, probably it has everything in it. I can imagine that would work. But it's processed, and so all that's gone. Now, if you just have sugars that come without the proportional sodium or calcium, potassium, the sugars are taxing, they're broken, then it's difficult to take them in, and they cause osmotic drag. So you start getting changes with leaky gut. Leaky gut just means the cells are tight and happy, and when things are not working, they tend to kind of make a little bit leak. Leaky gut then will let you have intact bad proteins leak through, and then your system has to deal with them. And leaky gut over time will lead to many diseases like arthritis, lupus, things that we're aware of. It's like a root cause of getting poison in your system in a big way. And your system can deal with it slowly, but over time it'll chip away at our ability or confuse our system. So refined sugar is a problem. Anything refined, in fact, if anything's packaged, more than 2-3 ingredients in a package, we now know that they are responsible for vast majority of diseases we see. And there's literature coming out in a big way. And I think you could mandate a rule against them, is how toxic they are. So anything packaged, prepackaged, unless you're playing soccer or something, you have once a week, I think anything you can handle. You want to completely avoid that. Start with food as raw as possible, and then work with that, because companies don't know what they're doing. They think they're serving us well, and the intent may be good to make it easy, cheap, transferable, shippable, stored, shelf life, frozen, because that's what we want. But in actual fact, they're slowly but surely hurting us and hurting our good guys like bacteria in our system. So sugar is one of those, and probably the most potent damage. Probably the most potent damage caused to patients is the sugar. So I think you should watch that and avoid that if you can.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
One thing more, I want to say that just before coming to Orlando, I visited to Gujarat for 1 month, and I saw that how Gujarati people have such kind of habits of taking something after food. They take the seed of mango seed. They cut it in small pieces and take after eating or after taking meal. So I asked them that why you are taking this thing. So they say that it is the good source of B12. Okay, mango seed. After drying up, they cut it into small pieces and take like the supari or so. And one thing more, there was which is very small one, and that is called a pabadi. So I said that why you guys are taking this pabadi? Then they said that it is the good source of what you say D3. So these small things you can see in India and different states, people are taking some different things. And they know that it is the source of B12 or it is D3 or calcium or potassium or etc. So we all are having such kind of ingredients in our day-to-day life, in our diets, especially in our Jain diets. So it is complete in itself,
Thank you so much, Samniji. Does anyone else have any questions?
So it looks that the youngsters are still have no time to join the session, but they are almost 24 people have signed for this forum. Might be all those numbers have not been yet added to our WhatsApp group, and they are not becoming aware of the session. So please add all those numbers to WhatsApp group so that they can get information about the session and can join.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can be the next topic for our discussion?
think we'll spend some time over the next few weeks thinking about that. Then
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Like we can definitely think on it, but my first suggestion, and we can definitely have a discussion on it, but like maybe like how to deal with stress.
Okay, stress. Yeah, that is
That's a good one.
good.
Very
Good
good.
topic.
Yeah, really great.
Very good topic.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining, and Dr.
Okay,
Dev is always with me to take any topic. So he has
of
very
course.
about
Mandami naman sa
scientific studies and also the right information about the things.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, guys. Keep advertising and 24 ad. Then we'll keep advertising. Just let you know,
Absolutely.
previously took 2-3 cycles to gather people to join, but it'll grow and you'll get into trainings very quickly. So keep at it. Previously it took about 3 or 4 sessions before more and more people joined out of town, summertime. So keep at it. I think it's just good. Very good, very good. The organization is very good. I congratulate you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
You guys should also
Great.
connect your friends and whomever you know that they can join. So
Mhm.
try to connect them. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for
Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Samniji. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Devendra.
Mandami Nasami Shamiji.
Mandami naman
you.
sa
Nami.
Mandami na
Thanks, Samiji.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So should we leave?
Samniji, do you want to do Mango Path before we leave?
Oh yes, please.
चत्तारि मंगलम अर्हंता मंगलम सिद्धा मंगलम साहु मंगलम केवली पुन्नतो धम्मो मंगलम चत्तारि लघुत्तमा अर्हंता लघुत्तमा सिद्धा लघुत्तमा साहु लघुत्तमा केवली पुन्नतो धम्मो लघुत्तमो चत्तारि शरणं भवज्जामि अर्हन्ति शरणं भवज्जामि सिद्धि शरणं भवज्जामि साहु शरणं भवज्जामि केवली पुन्नतं धम्मं शरणं भवज्जामि. Thank you.
Mandani Samiji. Thank you, everybody.
Mandami
Thank you,
Nasami
Mandami
Thank
Shamiji.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
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 Bye bye.
Okay.